Hey guys, want to show your support to the channel and get some awesome rewards at the same time? Then go check out my Patreon page where at whatever tier you choose that fits your budget, you'll get plenty of rewards such as updates and announcements on the regular, exclusive sneak peeks of my videos before they go up online, get yourself credited, and receive a special shout out at the end of my videos and more. Go to patreon.com/AckleyAttack44227TV to start pledging today. And don't forget to also check out and consider gifting me any items I have listed on my Amazon wishlist and even supporting me on my Streamlabs tipping page that'll also help support the channel directly. Links are in the description box below as well as on my link tree for you to check out. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Take care. Hey guys, this is AckleyAttack4427 here with a very special video for all of you guys, and well, I hope all of you guys are currently enjoying the last day of May as we speak by the time this video goes live, and well, June is already right around the corner as we speak, and well, I guess pretty much I've got a lot going on for sure right at the beginning of summer for sure, So there's a lot to go through by now, so I gotta make sure that we get ourselves fully ready for that. But I guess for today's video, I've actually been wanting to talk about this subject matter for quite some time now because, well, there's a lot to go through as we speak, so I think we might as well get right to it, So yeah, if you may recall, just right around a week ago by the time this video goes live, I actually had the privilege to check out pretty much the recent of Disney's pretty much ongoing and yet somehow dying trend of their live-action remakes with Lilo and Stitch, and yeah, I guess pretty much of anything, I did talk about that said filming, of course, in its own thoughts video for sure, and to me, I actually did surprisingly like it for sure. I mean, yeah, I can't say it's actually pretty much, it couldn't actually be on the same level as the original anime film by far. And let's not forget to mention, pretty much the bullcrap ending might have actually pretty much ruined my chances of saying that it's actually really great. But I did think it's actually a really good movie regardless, and certainly one live-action remake of from Disney that I actually do surprisingly like for what it is, so yeah. But then again, I did talk about that said thoughts video, yeah, pretty much that said movie in its own thoughts video for sure, that I actually posted alongside pretty much another one I did on the recent Mission Impossible movie, so you could definitely check it out. But it's surprisingly interesting that I brought up the Lilo and Stitch remake as a whole because, well, I guess for this video right now, I definitely want to talk about my perspective on the current status as we speak regarding the Disney live-action remakes as a whole. Yeah, I think you can pretty much put the puzzle pieces together on, of course, how I actually feel about this by far, because yeah, I know a lot of you guys are pretty much going like, oh, just by mentioning that subject matter alone, but I do have every good reason to talk about this in its own video now. Now, I guess it's no big surprise that if you have seen plenty of my videos that I've put up past the present, I guess I make it clear for the fact that I do have myself a love-hate relationship with the Disney live-action remakes as a whole, so yeah, there are some that I actually do surprisingly like for what they are, some that I just kind of thought were absolutely terrible, and yeah, pretty much about maybe 75% of course, on how I feel about these live-action remakes. It kind of left me feeling mixed at best for sure, so yeah, I guess pretty much of anything, my love-hate relationship with the Disney live-action remakes as of now is pretty much love and hate at the same time for sure, so yeah. But I think it is quite clear that pretty much, if anything, it's the one thing Disney always loves to push out for sure to earn them money to, of course, keep themselves thriving for sure. And I do get that, and I do know it's pretty much still one ongoing trend that's never pretty much that they decide not to let go anytime soon. But that's where the real problem kicks in, because they're pushing out these live-action remakes as a whole. I think they might be getting way too out of hand with, of course, what they're trying to do, hands down. In fact, I dare even say that most of the live-action remakes that we've been getting from Disney as of now hasn't really been up to par compared to when they first started out for sure. So yeah, I guess pretty much for what it is, I think pretty much, I know when the Disney live-action remakes first started out, and quite interestingly enough, pretty much all the way back in 2010 with Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, I guess we were all quite surprised on the reception that film actually turned out in terms of its box office numbers for sure. But a lot of people are saying that it's absolutely inferior to the original, hands down, and not really bringing anything new to the table for sure. So yeah, I guess quite frankly, I think it makes sense, of course, on that front, because, well, I never actually saw Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland back when it first came out, for sure. But I do see where a lot of people are coming from in saying that pretty much that said movie is just absolutely terrible for what it is. But I guess we didn't know for the fact that this was, of course, pretty much the start of these live-action remakes, pretty much that we're getting nowadays for sure. So yeah. And surprisingly enough, pretty much since 2014, the live-action remakes actually kept on going for sure, with, of course, a few other ones that actually did pop up for sure, like, of course, Maleficent being another one that just got released 4 years after Alice in Wonderland came out. And yeah, I guess pretty much if anything, a lot of people are rather mixed at best, saying that it's almost kind of similar to Wicked, to which if that's the case, why not just go see Wicked again? Though I guess I'll give it to that front. I'm still looking forward. Yeah, I don't need a good segue. I did mention Wicked, and well, part 2 is coming out this November, so bear with me on that. So yeah, I think we all know on pretty much on how Maleficent actually turned out pretty much when it first came out. But thankfully, the live-action remakes did finally get itself a massive traction by far, with, of course, Cinderella, Jungle Book, and Pete's Dragon coming out afterwards, which, surprisingly enough, they were all pretty good for sure. And I guess pretty much, if anything, I dare even say those are actually what we kind of expect for these live-action remakes for sure. Just stay true to, of course, on what the original did, but updating for the modern-day crowd while bringing something new and inventive. And I think that's what we got with, of course, these remakes as a whole. So honestly, I think when I actually saw those, if I ever would have actually seen pretty much, yeah, given to what I've actually seen, I was hoping that Disney would actually pretty much keep on that tactic with some of their others if they decide to make more for sure, to which was kind of my main hope, of course, on that front for sure. So yeah, I think it's what I could say on that front. But ever since the Beauty and the Beast remake that came out in 2017, where, of course, it's just nothing more but a shot-by-shot reenactment of the original, yeah. We can all see where the remakes have actually gone from there for sure, and yeah, and I think I knew over the years, especially with, of course, the ones they've actually put out for sure, they've really got themselves out of hand with, of course, these live-action remakes for sure. So yeah, I dare even say for the fact that 2019, surprisingly enough, was definitely a massive year because they actually did release about 4 to 5 of these live-action remakes by far, to which, yeah, was probably too much from what I can gather for sure, and yeah, even I guess for this decade as of now, pretty much all the live-action remakes kept on going, and boy, did they really drop in quality by far, so yeah, I guess pretty much of anything, again, I did go over pretty much a majority of these live-action remakes pretty much in pretty much my videos over the years, and yeah, you can definitely see for the fact that my reactions on each and every single one of them actually do kind of vary when you really think about it for sure. Now, I guess pretty much of anything, I know it's not a big surprise that I've actually mentioned all of that hands down because, well, pretty much ever since the dawn of cinema, remakes have been around for quite some time now for sure, and yeah, no matter what we do, and no matter what we say by far, Hollywood is never going to stop making all these remakes by far. And that's amongst plenty of other stuff that had pretty much they also love to push out, like, of course, sequels and adaptations, just to name a few for sure. And there's hardly anything for them to cram in some original ideas for sure. And yeah, that's the one thing that we do kind of fear about modern day Hollywood nowadays for sure. Usually, I think they usually rely on, of course, less and less of original ideas, but more on sequels and remakes and adaptations by far. And now you might be saying to yourself, well, if that's the case for what Disney is doing right now, what about their original animated films for sure, their adaptations of some well-known stories that we all know and love? Well, that is actually true when you really think about it for sure, because, well, the majority of course, the original animated films from Disney that we all know and love, hands down, are mainly just adaptations of course, some well-known stories, particularly pretty much some well-known fairy tales that we all know and love. You name it, pretty much ranging from, of course, Snow White to Cinderella to Sleeping Beauty, and that's just to name a few for sure. So yeah, I guess pretty much of anything, that's the one thing Disney always pretty much starting out on for sure with their animated films, just adapting some well-known fairy tales that we all know and love, and we still love and admire on what they're doing for sure. If, of course, superheroes, whether it be from Marvel and DC, or, of course, modern-day Greek legends by far, then Disney is indeed modern-day fairy tales. So yeah, pretty much of anything, I think it really does culminate all together, given to what Disney has been doing for sure. In fact, if anything, animation has started out pretty much well over 100 years ago for sure, and that's mainly through like independent pretty much filmmakers and stuff that wanted to try this medium out. But Disney is definitely the one that really helped push animation to become the medium that it is today for sure, starting out with several shorts and pretty much all the way to, of course, their first film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It really helped pretty much the latter that I actually mentioned really did help improving that animation can carry out a feature film for sure, and yeah, even without it, pretty much Disney wouldn't be where it is right now for sure, because yeah, pretty much of anything, Disney really did really put in a lot of hard work and effort to really make their animated films the best that they can for sure. Starting out with, of course, pretty much all hand-drawn with, of course, a pen and pencil and everything, to, of course, using computers nowadays for sure. So yeah, that's something Disney has actually stuck with for a long time now, and they're not stopping anytime soon. And might even not only expand on their horizons for sure, like of course working with Pixar on their own animated feature films, to which, yeah, are actually as great as the ones Disney are pushing out for sure. And even rival studios nowadays, like of course Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, and that's just to name a few for sure, actually creating their own animation studios to really try to compete against what Disney is actually doing for sure. So yeah, I think if anything, it really does kind of make sense, of course, on that front for sure. So yeah, pretty much of anything, when it comes to Disney for sure, animation is definitely the one thing that really is, of course, the one thing they're well known for sure, and they've actually grown and evolved over the years with each and every single one they've actually put out for sure without stopping anytime soon. So yeah, if that being if that being the case for Disney with their animated films, why the opposite with their live-action remakes as a whole? Well, there are several reasons, actually. One particularly being is the hang pretty much of anything. Pretty much, even though they're all live-action for sure, it does kind of vary from what we can gather. Like, of course, pretty much for some special effects that are needed in for these live-action remakes in order to replicate on what the animated feature films actually did. They usually rely on CGI for sure to really help culminate, of course, that front for sure. And yeah, sometimes that can actually be one big downgrade for sure, because some of the time, pretty much of anything, the CGI can be very convincing and very realistic, like say Jungle Book, for example. But other times, it would actually look very uncanny at the same time, like say pretty much most of the CGI in the Maleficent movies, or even say the Lion King remake as a whole for sure. And that's just to name a few from Lion King Gather for sure. So yeah, and of course another thing that pretty much should also be pointing out is the pretty much for the characters, they do kind of have different archetypes from pretty much from Lion King Gather. Like of course, if you're a female character, and of course these live-action remakes, you can have no flaws whatsoever and be born perfect as you are for sure. To which, yeah, that can pretty much sometimes make most of these characters not interesting for sure, and I can definitely see why. Well, I guess pretty much giving female arcs to, of course, the leading ladies for these live-action remakes. Well, give them to, of course, the men and, of course, these remakes, because they're more deserving of that. To which, yeah, that could be one big downgrade from Lion King Gather for sure, and sometimes they would usually pop in bits and pieces from the original just for the sake of nostalgia. Now, I guess it's no big surprise on that front, because nostalgia always sells when it comes to film. Pretty much familiar IPs that we all know and love for sure, and if it can actually work well in most of these movies, then that's actually fine. But if you pander them to, of course, with, of course, everything that you can and just hammering into your head, yeah, it can be overloaded by far, and yeah, I think pretty much of anything, you can actually pretty much pinpoint some moments where they actually do at least do something from the original that you would actually say while looking over them, and of course the remake. Yeah, maybe I think the original anime film did get much better for sure. So yeah, I can go on and on with several other reasons, with of course these pretty much on several reasons on why pretty much the live action remakes that Disney is pushing out is really starting to degrade a lot of people, but those are the only few that I can gather for sure, and yeah, given to what I'm actually seeing, yeah, maybe I think they're starting to get way too out of hand from Why King Gather for sure, and it's almost like we really want to pressure Disney, of course, saying, yeah, maybe I think you're getting yourselves overloaded with, of course, these live-action remakes as a whole, so yeah. I guess pretty much of anything, with the current state of these live-action remakes as a whole, yeah, I think, I guess it is quite surprising that a lot of people, including myself, are starting to catch on with, of course, what these live-action remakes are doing right now for sure, and yeah, with each and every single one of them, they've actually pushed out over the years. Yeah, maybe I think, maybe I guess Disney is not really up to par with, of course, what they're trying to do for sure. I mean, I do get they're trying their best to, of course, get these remakes out for sure to really pretty much try to bring in money so that way they can actually make more movies as a whole, but yeah, I think with, of course, what we're seeing nowadays for sure, yeah, we're pretty lucky that we're starting to catch on to, of course, all of them, and I think maybe now will be a good time to finally tell Disney, yeah, what you're doing right now is not working, maybe I think you should probably stop, so yeah. And I think he is starting to catch on with most of these live-action remakes they're pushing out for sure, because, yeah, most of the ones from what I've actually seen are not really pretty much up to par compared to how they actually starting out for sure. In fact, if anything, I do kind of notice for, of course, the majority of them for sure, some of them have actually turned out so bad for sure that it might actually jeopardize some of the future ones they actually got planned out for sure, to which, honestly, maybe it might be for the best, hands down. In fact, from what I can gather, if you might recall a couple months ago for sure, I did talk about the live-action remake of Snow White for sure, to which, honestly, I don't need to go over it again because, yeah, pretty much of anything, I really, I can side with a lot of people in saying that I really didn't like that said movie for what it is for sure. And given to the controversies that have actually popped up right around before the film came out to where we are right now, maybe we all saw it coming for sure. In fact, if anything, the reception on that said remake turned out so poorly that, believe it or not, Disney is, of course, now officially canceled their upcoming live-action remake on Tangled, to which, yeah, pretty much of anything, yeah, maybe that was a good call for Disney to actually do that because, yeah, I can understand for the fact that Tangled is indeed a really good movie, and yeah, I can definitely side with people on that, and I'm so lucky to have that said movie on Blu-ray some time ago, but in terms of a live-action remake on that, yeah, maybe its cancellation might be for the best, hands down, so yeah. Pretty much, if anything, I guess, pretty much for what it is right now, especially with, of course, the current status of these live-action remakes that Disney has actually been pushing out for sure. Yeah, maybe we're actually lucky that a lot of us are finally starting to catch on with, of course, what Disney is actually doing very recently for sure, and the more and more they actually try to get them out for sure, the less and less they try to do to make them pretty much that they try to do to at least update certain things, which I guess is the whole point of these live-action remakes. They keep adding less and less by far, and yeah, I think that's encouraging us to not see them more and more for sure, so yeah. And I guess it is such a shame for sure, to which, yeah, I think given to the current status right now, maybe I think Disney should probably, I think, reevaluate, of course, what they did wrong by far, because with the current status of course, these live-action remakes as of now, I really don't think they can actually keep on going with those hands down for sure. And I mean, I guess pretty much of anything, I think they're pretty much going to meet the same fate as the Disney direct-to-DVD sequels that they did pretty much beforehand for sure. And I'm pretty sure you all remember that era for sure, with, of course, Disney actually releasing pretty much sequels to their anime films that are not giving theatrical releases, but are released straight to DVD by far, and yeah, some of them are good, while the majority of them are just very bad for sure, and yeah, did start out pretty strong and decently with, of course, the Return of Jafar that they did. But I guess since then, they actually stopped altogether with, of course, the prequel to The Little Mermaid for sure. To which I guess is probably for the best, hands down, for sure. And I know I'm fully aware that they did more of those right around afterwards, but they're mainly just sequels to, of course, Tinkerbell by far, to which honestly is fine for what it is. Nothing to really get angry over besides. I mean, who doesn't love the Tinkerbell movie for what it is? So yeah, I mean, if that being the case for the direct-to-DVD Disney sequels by far, I think maybe the same thing could be said for, of course, the Disney live-action remakes as a whole. But I wouldn't necessarily guarantee that for sure, because let's really face it, hands down, despite my reactions to the majority of them, hands down, with, of course, me being split on, of course, a really good amount of them for sure, and some that I just kind of thought were absolutely terrible, I'm not against the idea of the Disney live-action remakes as a whole. And I mean, let's really face it, looking back on, of course, the majority of my videos that I actually did in the past to where we are right now, there are some Disney live-action remakes that I've seen and talked about for sure that I did surprisingly thought were really good for sure. Like, of course, pretty much, if anything, going back a bit for when I did family movie collaboration years ago for sure, I did talk about one of the Disney live-action remakes, that being Cinderella, alongside my girlfriend for sure, and I did surprisingly like that movie by far, and I will admit, even looking back on it nowadays, it's not really as great as the original for sure, but I did surprisingly like it for what it is, and it's indeed a really good live-action remake that Disney actually did for sure. And let's not forget to mention the Jungle Book from 2016 for sure, is by far my all-time favorite. I really enjoyed that movie for sure. It is surprisingly different from the original anime film by far, but I think they really did a great job for what they actually did, and yeah, it is certainly the one Disney live-action remake that I really enjoyed, hands down. Aside from, of course, the one from 1994, which was just fine for what it is. Aside from, of course, the over-the-top deaths that pretty much that scarred a lot of people by far, including this one.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Jesus Christ indeed! But yeah, I think you kind of get the idea, of course, that front, and let's not forget to mention from Why King Gather, pretty much the other films that followed afterwards, Christopher Robin, that one was also really good from Why King Gather. And despite me being split down the middle, of course, what I had to say about it, I really enjoyed some of the good qualities given in the lagging remake from what I've actually seen by far. And let's not forget to mention, I can even make the same argument for, of course, the Little Mermaid remake for sure. Though I guess for the latter, I did like it. Ironically, though, it has been a long while since I've actually seen that movie, so maybe or maybe not my thoughts have changed on that, but we'll have to wait and see. And let's not forget to mention Cruella. I actually thought was a really good one for sure, and it did surprisingly blew me away with, of course, what it's actually done for sure. And Emma Stone actually did portray the title character perfectly for sure. And let's see, what else? Oh yeah, even very recently with the Lilo and Stitch remake for sure. I mean, yeah, I think I can go on and on why I have to say are, of course, a few legitimate problems. And like I said, I didn't like the bullcrap ending that they actually did in that movie. But the rest, I have to say, is actually done pretty good for sure. And yeah, certainly is pretty much... does have the same charm and likability as the original, but really does updating as a really clever remake for what it is for sure. Not by much, but still actually really quite nice for sure. And of course, another one that I did kind of thought that I did have a good time with, despite my mixed reactions, was, of course, the 101 Dalmatians remake with Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil. Yeah, pretty much of anything, I do think it's actually alright for what it is, and I did surprisingly have a good time with, of course, Glenn Close's over-the-top performance, hands down, So yeah, I think it is safe to say that there are some Disney live-action remakes that I did surprisingly like for sure. Even some of the ones that aren't declared pretty much Disney live-action remakes for sure, like for example, Mary Poppins Returns. I really do think, despite for the fact that it doesn't have the pretty much charm and likability as the original Mary Poppins, I really do think it's actually a really good follow-up for what it is for sure. So yeah, I think that's just to name me a few. So I think it is safe to say that there are some Disney live-action remakes that I do surprisingly like, while the rest of them, on the other hand, yeah. My point still stands, I'm either split down the middle with the majority of them, or I just find them awful for sure, so yeah. And honestly, I think when it comes to the live-action remakes as a whole, again, I'm not against the idea altogether, but given to where we're at right now, maybe I guess pretty much of anything, I don't want Disney to actually stop with the live-action remakes as a whole for sure. Maybe I guess pretty much, if anything, maybe put pretty much stop pretty much for a period of time, maybe reevaluate, of course, where they went wrong for sure, and actually try to fix it if they ever do decide to bring this idea back up again. Because when you really think about it, that's the one thing I do want to see from Disney, hands down, with these live-action remakes. Maybe instead of course, pretty much focusing on the ones that we don't want to see, maybe see some of the, maybe put together some ones that we do want to see, and can actually, yeah, pretty much have some animated films that Disney did that does have good promise, but does have problems that prevented them from being good. But you can actually update them and make them live action, and it can work perfectly. So yeah, maybe something on the more obvious ones that we can point out for sure, like of course the Black Cauldron, or Atlantis the Lost Empire, or even Treasure Planet for sure. I think those will be great as live action remakes for sure that can actually work. And let's not forget to mention, what about some ones that we didn't expect out of the blue that could possibly work for sure, like maybe do a remake of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but instead of actually trying to make it be like the animated feature film, but try to actually make it more like the Disney stage musical that they did, where they actually made like both the animated feature film and the original Victor Hugo novel of the same name. That alone could actually work, and yeah, I think there's a lot of possibility with that idea for sure. So yeah. If they ever do decide to do a live-action remake on The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but make it more as a cinematic version of the Disney stage musical, I think that can actually work, and it will finally pretty much be the one film that Disney will actually say, yeah, we're getting out our first R-rated movie by far. And you might make the argument they already did that with Deadpool and Wolverine, but that was technically released under their Marvel Studios brand for sure. But the idea of course, a live-action Hunchback of Notre Dame remake, but make it more as like the Disney stage musical for sure, but much more cinematic, that alone would be the first Disney movie to receive an R rating for sure, so yeah, that's something I definitely do want to see happen. In fact, another person that I know of also suggested that they should probably give the live-action remake treatment to Tarzan for sure. And honestly, I think there might be some possibilities for sure. And again, much like with what I said with Hunchback of Notre Dame, maybe take some elements from the Disney stage musical of the same name for sure, and actually make it a whole lot more cinematic. So I guess I'd give it to that idea alone. That could actually work if Disney decided to do a live-action Tarzan remake for sure. And that's just to name me a few, so yeah. If we ever do want to see Disney keep on going with these live-action remakes as a whole, maybe focus more on the ones that we do want to see as opposed to the ones we don't want to see, hands down. But until that happens, I guess it looks like with the current stage of these live-action remakes as a whole, yeah, maybe I think they might be on their way out for sure, So yeah, I think with where we're at right now, especially with Lilo and Stitch currently out in theaters for sure, they might actually have pretty much at least one more that they got planned out for next year, which is of course pretty much their live-action Moana remake with Dwayne Johnson set to come back as Maui for sure. To which, yeah, given to where we're at right now, and of course with what Disney is doing for that said movie, maybe I think, maybe I guess the live-action Moana remake might as well be the final one for sure. And I guess aside from Tangled for sure, there might be a few other ones that they got planned out that they might cancel as well. Those include pretty much the Aristocats, pretty much, let's see, yeah, the Aristocats is one, Bambi is another one of them for sure. And yeah, that's just to name me a few from what I can gather for sure, so. To which, yeah, I think give it to that case alone. Maybe canceling those movies might be for the best, hands down, and let Moana be the final one for sure, so. So yeah, pretty much of anything. I know the trend of the Disney live-action remakes might die down for sure, and yeah, I think it might be for the best, given to where we're at right now for sure, so yeah. But I don't want Disney to give up altogether. Besides, they've still got other projects they want to pursue later on. Like, of course, they're still going strong with their animated feature films, both from themselves and Pixar for sure. And there are some live-action movies that they're still working on as we speak. So yeah, pretty much of anything. Maybe I think it's time that Disney focus more on those and probably stop with the live-action remakes for the time being for sure. So yeah. I mean, let's really face it. Walt Disney has put blood, sweat, and tears in making Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs the animated classic that we all know today. If that movie failed, him and his studio would be in massive trouble, and pretty much it wouldn't be where it is right now for sure. But with these live-action remakes failing as we speak, maybe I think it's time that Disney will find a new way to make money for sure, because, yeah, with where they're at right now, maybe I think it's time that they stop altogether. But who knows? Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, so maybe within a matter of time, Disney will pretty much revisit this idea again and try to fix some things up and actually give us exactly what we want for sure. But we're gonna have to wait and see on that. But for now, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, so So yeah, and I guess on that thought alone, I think that'll definitely do it for this video for sure. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and by all means, let me know in the comments down below on how you feel about the Disney live-action remakes and what you think could have been done to, of course, try to see if Disney will actually fix them up or not, or just stop altogether. But I digress, So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and don't worry, I do hope to get more coming up pretty soon, so I guess this is all I can give you right about now for sure, in well over 40 minutes as we speak, so hopefully I think that was actually well worth it, so yeah, but until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/AckleyTackTV to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget. Hey guys, this is SamAttack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications, and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with Sam the Thomas Fan 1, SamAttack4427TheThomasFan1 Productions, for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, backley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and playing more, in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/AckleyTackTV/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.